All right, welcome back, guys, to the, let's see if it'll show up, Purpose-Driven Life. I am my virtual study and my friend Scott sitting on the water.
Hey, everybody,
But-
hope you're doing well.
Yes, we hope that you guys are healthy. So we are in this final week of Purpose-Driven Life. And this is purpose number 5, and you were made for a mission. And honestly, I think this is a huge subject for people to really discover their purpose, discover their mission in life. And we are jumping in, and basically, I mean, he comes right out of the gate and says, "You were made for a mission." He doesn't, just cuts to the chase. And of course, our mission being defined and given to us, and also partnered with God as well in the mission. So, how did this week start off for you, Scott?
Well, that's a wide open question. Let's see. Well, something he says again and again that I think is worth covering here, and it comes up right at the beginning of day 37, is he reviews the 5 purposes for our lives. And he's so clever. He says them in different ways, but I thought I'd take a moment just to review them, since he seems to say them multiple times throughout the final 2 weeks that we're wrapping the book up with here. 5 purposes for your life: to be a member of his family, to model his character, to be a magnifier of his glory, to be a minister of his grace, and then the last one is to be a messenger of his good news.
Yeah, I thought those were good
yes,
summary for the whole book.
Yeah, and so God, I mean, he wants us, if I could summarize the whole book, if you're just tuning in for the first time, based on the title of the book, you wouldn't even have to read it, but it's so worth your time, really inspiring. We need to know what our purpose is, because God wants to use us and change us, and so that we have a ministry, we can serve other people, and ultimately, because we believe that the good news of Christ is the most important truth in life that you will ever respond to, we need to share that truth. But we will do that most effectively if we start by knowing what our purpose is all about. And so I said it last session, I think this is excellent material, especially for new people just following Christ for the first time, people who've been walking with Christ for decades, people who are considering Christ. This is really challenging stuff. So that's how it struck me.
Yeah, and I like how he did talk a lot about shifts that we need to make. Shifts that really we hold in constant tension. The first one that he talks about is shifting to an others mindset. And we read so often how just making that shift turns your life around. You know, it brings a lot of joy to serve others. It takes off anxiety of constantly thinking about yourself, and thinking about what God's ultimate goal, which is really just redemption process in every sphere and in every aspect of our life to something beautiful and good. And it talks about shifting from he says here and now. I would call it a fast food thinking to eternal thinking, because I think that's even more prevalent even today. So if it shift from thinking of excuses to thinking of creative ways. So I like this one because man, our common instinct is to fill a space, instead of really going with God into creativity and innovation. Um, because I think that's a primary characteristic of who God is constantly creating. And I think it's a wonderful privilege, is one word of saying it, but a wonderful joy as well, to use who we are, our shape, to create with God a you know part of His kingdom.
That's right. Yeah, and he uses the language of becoming a world-class Christian, which at first I thought, oh, that's an interesting way to say it. Never heard of that before, but he's really calling us in our discipleship to kind of the next step, if you will, from all those ways that you just talked about. He has a number of ways of shifting,
Yeah,
like you said, from shifting from the here and now to the eternal thinking, and just a real challenge not to trade the temporary, not to trade the eternal for the temporary. And
yeah,
it's certainly so easy to do in our culture, because in a fast, like you said, in a microwave, in a fast food, in a fast paced culture, it's very easy to want things right now, and that can lead us to forgetting about eternity. And as he'll get into in the next week, days and weeks, that sobering thought that one day I will give an account of my life to God. And so then he just challenges us to think with an eternal mindset.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it kind of cuts to the chase. I'll say it's not as many discussion points, just because I know that, if you don't have an anchor in your life, if you don't know your mission, if you don't know your purpose, it life becomes extremely difficult. You're constantly searching, because at the core of who we are, it's basically a truth that we can't escape from. And thankfully, in Matthew, he does say, hey, if we seek after him, if we're living our purpose, we will be satisfied. So
That's right. And then I guess we'll pick it up again in day 39, talking about balancing your life and balancing all these
right.
purposes.
And the mystery days to come that I look
Yes,
forward to hearing more about.
that's right.
And, if you see our very last video of Purpose Driven Life, you'll find out more. But otherwise, we'd love to see you in person, or at least I will next week. But Celebrate Recovery on Monday nights at 7 p.m. And we hope to see you there. See you guys.
See you later.